It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none.
Nice.
It ain't no fun.
I haven't heard that song in so long, I don't even know how the beat goes.
I know, right?
Guess who's back in the house?
Hell yeah.
For sure. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Cave Sports. Tonight, we are going to be going over tonight's game one of the NBA playoffs. We'll be also doing a baseball recap now that we're a couple months in and standings and just talk about where the teams are. And NFL news. Deandre Hopkins, where is he going to go? And we also have news about Jimmy G and his injury, not passing physical. So, yeah, we got a few topics to talk tonight. And here with us, we got Legit Naro, Slava, a.k.a. Francis, and Feel the Burn. Welcome, fellas.
What's good? Good evening.
Yo.
Yeah, thanks for coming on tonight, guys. We're gonna talk some sports. So let's dive right into it. Game one just finished a couple hours ago between the Heat and the Nuggets. So thoughts? How'd it go?
Just like I thought it would. That's how it went.
Yep, that Denver altitude catching up to the Miami Heat.
Oh my god! And we were we were talking about this last week too.
Yeah,
and we kind of obviously everybody kind of knew this was coming. I didn't think Boston was going to push it to Game 7, but they did. But good for them. But I love Jimmy. He is him. But the Nuggets just have a better squad. They have a better setup. And it's kind of, I personally give Miami one game in Miami. I think it's going Nuggets in 5. So I kind of saw this coming. I think everybody's kind of seeing it coming. I don't know what you guys think.
Denver has the height advantage from 1 to 5. I mean, Jamal Murray is their point guard, and he's like at 6'5". And then you have KCP, 6'6". Then you go Michael Porter Jr., who's pretty much like 6'9", 6'10" at the 3. And then you got Aaron Gordon's big ass, like 6'10". And then you got Joker, who's pretty much a guard and an all-around player himself. Yeah, man, we saw tonight on how mismatched it was. Miami tried to do their best to drive it in. They even switched up their defense towards the end of the game and made a little run. They went to like a 2-3 or 3-2 like extended zone. But I mean, Joker, when he catches the ball in the middle in that zone, he just a smooth operator. He just picks apart the defense, and that's what we saw tonight.
I was thinking about this. We were talking about this last week too, about how the East versus the West, the point scoring, right, versus the games, right. I think we're going to see low scoring games for this entire. I think Miami's going to do a better job of keeping the Denver at a low level, but the whole issue is, right, height is a big factor in this game. Can they keep their own points up as they're keeping Denver down?
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, Denver only scored 104 points, which is very low for them. They're one of the top scoring offenses this season. But Miami just couldn't hit a bucket. They couldn't. Denver just clogs the lanes in a very efficient way, where Miami was just kicking the ball out, just driving and kicking. And don't get me wrong, Miami had some good looks at the rim from a 3-point stance. But they weren't knocking down their shots like they were a few days ago against Boston. So you just got to give the props to Denver for this game one. And yeah, I agree with Nara. I think it's gonna go 5 games at best. But I hope it goes longer. I hope, this picture here, I hope the Bam and Jimmy remember this and kick up their engines a little bit, because I need a little more fight, because tonight I didn't really see that dog like I've been seeing in Jimmy the past couple of games. But it is an adjustment to go from Boston straight to Denver, 7 games. Now you're playing in a mile-high altitude, where you've been playing in like a city like Miami, who's pretty much right at sea level. So we'll see how the series goes. But Denver in 5 is my opinion.
This was definitely not a good sign for Miami. First game of the series, and from what I was checking in, I wasn't able to watch the full game, so I just caught a recap of it. Denver's just too good. They're stacked. They're riding sky high right now. This has all the makings of a very short series. Again, I'm like you, Francis. I hope it's not. Miami's been playing really good basketball, but they might be running out of the magic that they've been riding on so far this playoff run. So the Denver's just, man, that extra rest didn't even really like they weren't rusty at all. They were just went right back in that arena and did the same shit they've been doing all playoffs.
Dude, they had like a week and a half rest almost. So.
Oh my god, they were just taking naps and chilling the whole time.
Dude.
Now let me ask you guys this, right? Miami went into Milwaukee and took game 1. They went into the Garden, went game 1, and they went into the other Garden and took game 1. Do you think they'll be, obviously, we're everyone's pushing to Denver. Do you think that they're going to be able to bounce back from this? Because as you were saying, they were kind of making a little bit of a run there, because Denver had control of the game for the most part until kind of near the end of the game. Do you think they're going to be able to adjust and bounce back from that and try to steal a game here in game 2?
It's quite possible. I mean, if there's one to make adjustments and do it in the greatest way possible in terms of coaches right now, it's Eric Spoelstra. He saw what worked towards the end of the game. He's going to go zone from the jump. I think they were worried about zone because Denver's shooting and Joker's playmaking abilities, being able to pick up part of zone. But if you mix it up, like throw some high school philosophy, like maybe do zone after every made bucket, mix it up next half, do zone after missed buckets. You just got to throw different looks at Denver, and that's really the only way you can't stop them. You just got to make it tough for them, and you hope that you make your shots. And like I said earlier, Miami had some open looks, but they were forced to take those threes because Denver's just clogging the lane. So hopefully, if they make some threes, maybe it opens up the lanes a little bit more. Maybe it forces Denver to kind of close out faster and harder to force a drive and maybe create some more opportunities in that sense. But yeah, it's quite possible. But Joker is Joker. We've seen his IQ, so he can make adjustments on the fly.
Joker is go ahead.
I was going to ask, who do you think needs to step up on Miami's side, to take game 2 and even it up?
In my opinion, it's Bam. He has to be a lot more physical with Joker. I mean, you're not going to stop him, but you got to just be annoying, like an annoying ass motherfucker, and hopefully that plays a part. I mean, you don't know for sure, but it's worth a shot.
Yeah, if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be Bam. Not that Jimmy doesn't need to step up. I mean, he wasn't, you didn't see him take over as he did in other games.
Yeah.
But Jimmy's Jimmy. We're going to see him bounce back, and I think he's going to play very well. But I think that it has to be Bam. If it's going to be anybody, it has to be Bam. He needs to try to make some type of effort of being a presence in the box, in the lane. He's got to be there. If he's not, if he's just going to get rolled over by Joker, then this could possibly be a 4 shutout. Yeah.
Bam got to meet him like as soon as Joker crosses half court. Just put a body on him already. Just be annoying.
Little jersey tugging.
Yeah, do whatever.
As a basketball thing, I think whoever wins, you'd be happy with it. I think that too. I think that's very true. I mean, a lot of people want Jimmy to get to get a ring. God knows, everyone knows that he deserves that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the Nuggets never being to the finals, coming in, Joker obviously deserves a ring as well. I think that you're right, Robert. And just in general, whoever wins this finals is, they definitely deserve it.
Now let me ask you guys this: if Miami is able to prove us wrong once again, like we've been doubting them the whole playoffs, are they one of the greatest teams to ever win a championship? Would you put them up there with likes of the Dallas Mavericks and Dirk Nowitzki of 2011? Would you put them up there with like the 2008 Boston Celtics? Would you put them up there with? I'm trying to think of like teams that didn't have like much of a dynasty, but they came in and showed out.
Like they just played as a team and won that championship instead of actually like
not a dynasty, but just a singular team. Like compare this Miami Heat 22 to 23 team to maybe last year's Warriors team. Do you think they would be better than them in terms of just everything that's been going on? Like if they pull this off, they surmounted one of the biggest upsets in NBA history. And for me, I would put them up there as one of the greatest teams to ever win a championship.
I think this would be one of the best underdog basketball stories.
The Cinderella story,
yeah.
I would say that. I don't think that I would put them up there as one of the best teams, but I think that if we see Miami win this finals, this will definitely turn heads a little bit in the world of basketball, for the specific reason is that other than Jimmy, they don't really have a star on that team.
Yeah,
there's really no stars on that team. So if that happens, we could definitely see something along the lines of more back to what the basketball used to be, man. It's building the team. A lot of teams right now are buying teams. Mm-hmm. Not that the Nuggets have all these crazy superstars, but Miami is less stacked than they are. And if you can see Miami pull through this, I think that it's going to show a lot of people that you can still win without buying your team.
No, that's true. Very true.
That's true.
I mean, a lot of their teams went undrafted, and like Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, like those guys are killing it right now. And I hope they step it up. I want this to be. I need this to be entertaining. If it's a 4-game series, I'm not going to be happy. But what can I do if the Nuggets win?
So I think as we're looking at the schedule, go ahead, Zack.
A couple things I want to say. I feel like this would mean more for Spoelstra's like legacy in like the whole basketball sense in terms of coaching. I think this a win this NBA Finals with this team like puts him in the discussion, if he's not already in the discussion, of greatest NBA coach of all time. And I also think that this, like I said earlier, would be one of the greatest basketball upsets in NBA history in terms of like from not just like in a series, but they're the 8th seed in the East, and they took out the 1 seed, they took out the 2 seed, and they took out the 4.
No, they took they took out Knicks were the 4th seed, and then they took out Boston.
Knicks were the 4.
Yeah,
and then they would take out the other 1 seed. So this would be like the craziest road to a finals.
Yeah.
In reverse, is this the easiest finals for any team? Like the Nuggets going against 2 8s, a 7, and a 5?
I was actually just going to bring that up too, because a lot of people have been saying that. I've been seeing a lot of people going like, "Wow, the Nuggets have kind of had an easy walk."
I mean, but you could say that with a lot of 1-seeded teams. Like when the Lakers are 1 seed, like I don't even remember who the fuck they played in the first round. Like
Which
2010.
Year?
2010. I think 2010. I think 2010 they only played like. I think it was the Suns or the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals that kind of gave them a run for their money. But besides that, they just blew by teams. I mean, if you think about the Lakers in 2000, in 2001 when they played 76ers in the finals. They steamrolled everybody, and we can make an argument that was the easiest. That was the easiest path to a playoffs too. So I get what you're saying, though. I mean, but that's part of
like standings and seedings.
That's just part of you earned that by playing well throughout the season. If you deserve that because you killed everyone in the season. You became number one seed. So I think it's unfair to say that's the easiest road because you played the best in the season, so you're getting rewarded now, and then now it's your time to shine in the playoffs. What are you going to do with that? Because the Bucks got rewarded with the number one seed. I thought they were going to kill the Miami Heat, and then they didn't take care of business. So that's just my argument to that side.
I guess what I'm saying though is mainly like when you're a 1 seed, right? You're gonna have a fairly easy path to like out of the first round for sure.
Yeah.
Right. But then normally you're gonna play a 2 or a 3 seed, and then probably a 1, 2, or a 3 on the other side. But these guys played a 7 in the West and then another 8. Like I don't know. It's unusual, right? It's unusual.
It is unusual.
Testament, I think, to the Heat and how well they've been playing. But in terms of the strictly seeding, I mean, there's an argument there for it.
I think that some people will make an argument that this will hurt the Nuggets' legacy, this team's legacy. But I think what people also forget is that playoff basketball, playoff any sport is a completely different game.
Yeah,
it's completely different. So when you're going into the playoff, shit. I mean, we saw the Lakers. Come through, and obviously they got steamrolled by the Nuggets, but they took out the Warriors, and everyone was talking about the Warriors going back. And that's because there's that team figured things out, and there was experience. There's a lot of playoff experience on that Lakers team with LeBron, with AD. So I think that yes, it can maybe hurt their legacy a little bit, but everyone's got to remember playoff are a completely different story.
Facts. I mean, if the Lakers had that team from the jump, I don't think they would be an 8th seed. They'd probably be somewhere between 4 through 2, maybe 5 through 2. So
probably.
Yeah,
they didn't lose much when they got all those pieces after the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And the West,
a little bit of context there.
I mean, I don't know. I would say this too. I don't think it hurts the legacy of the Nuggets because this year's Western Conference was so close in regards to standing towards the end. Like, well, you had 4 through 8 kind of like within 2 to 3 games of each other. Like if Lakers like got that call against Boston, didn't shit the bed against like on 3 games after the trade deadline, they might be in the 5th seed or 6th seed. So I would mark the argument for the Nuggets that this might have been the toughest road because the West was so stacked this year versus compared to other years.
That's true. The West was pretty stacked. I think the Nuggets have an easy path to scrimmage that they've done all season.
Sorry, proper. No, it doesn't. It just adds to the conversation. All right, it's just stating the facts of the way that these games are seeded, how they're playing, and that the fact that the Nuggets on their way to their first ever NBA championship, they would have faced theoretically 2 8s, a 7, and a 5.
Yeah.
On set.
Now, do you think that this could potentially lead to more success in Denver here on out? Maybe it might be an easy path for them now, but do you think in the next couple of years we will continue to see Denver making their runs back into the deep in the playoffs?
I think if they're able to keep Joker, Jamal, and Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. is still young, and I'm not sure about the same players, but if you have like someone that can play like KCP, someone that could play like Bruce Brown off the bench, someone that could be like an Aaron Gordon, then yes, I do think Denver ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think
they got to look back. They got to look back at previous successful teams that did it, and they kept a good core of their team. Yeah, they would move pieces here and there, but they would keep probably like the top 2-3 guys.
Yeah, for sure. Just build off of that.
Between I was gonna say between the Nuggets and the Avalanche, it's really good to see Denver sports on the map, like in being successful and in championship, games and finals, and just having
anybody but the Broncos.
It's really just the Avs and the Nuggets, Avalanche and Nuggets, and that's
Avalanche and Nuggets great for sports. If Broncos are in it, fantastic. Very bad for sports.
Yeah, Rockies, whatever. The Denver football team. Hey, Colorado Buffaloes might have a better football team than the Denver Broncos.
That's true.
Let me ask you this real quick, and this is kind of just a side note. If and probably the Nuggets win, right? Does this hurt Melo's legacy a little bit?
Damn, you threw me off with that one.
Oh, bring a Melo into this.
My favorite player. You got to bring it.
I love Melo. Oh man.
No, I don't think so. This is just a completely different way that they've approached the success and how they've constructed this team. I don't think they were very thoughtful in how they put that team together in Denver with Melo there. I like that they're surrounding their pieces with almost equal level in talent, but it feels like Murray and Jokic are just they're continuing to elevate. Whatever their ceiling was last year, they blow past it this year. And with Melo, with the Nuggets, from what I remember, and I could be completely wrong, but from what I remember back, what was that, 10, 15 years ago? They can never have that right chemistry to get past, the Lakers. What was the Suns back then were really good. Spurs. Whereas all those teams, they had that chemistry and they were rolling for a while with a lot of those pieces. Whereas the Nuggets kept trying to throw stuff at each other to see if it stuck. And with the biggest example being AI. But I don't know. I feel like it was just a different time back then too. So I don't think it hurts them at all.
Yeah, I would agree with Zach. I don't think it hurts Melo's legacy. He tried his very best, but with what he had, it was the golden era of the bigs back then, and you had Kobe in the mix too. So it's kind of hard to get past Tim Duncan and Kobe and Steve Nash and them boys.
Suns team. Yeah. I do want to say though, I don't wish, but it really sucks that they didn't win in those jerseys, because those uniforms they used to have back then were fucking.
Oh, I love those uniforms. I saw
powder blues.
Those are great, man.
Yeah,
I was,
back
the navy blue. They should really bring back those jerseys just for the finals. Just for one, that would be so cool.
Yeah, those Melo Jordans. I forgot which ones he had, but he had there was a touch of powder blue on it. Mm-hmm. I remember trying to get those so bad, and just doing a fadeaway jump shot from the post in them. Brings back memories of Melo. I know me and Naro were just talking about Melo. We had a whole segment on Melo last week.
Oh yeah, we did.
Wish you guys were there, but
because he retired, right?
Yep.
God, dude, I wish Melo would have won one. I really wanted him to win with the Lakers.
I think he'll be one of the. I don't know where you kind of get off topics, but he's one of those ones that one of the greatest to never get one.
Yeah, he's like Dan Marino in the NFL, McGrady. I think McGrady's up there too, personally.
Yeah.
But, man. Melo. What an era.
All right. So to top off the conversation of the NBA. So, Francis, you see it going 4-1. Naro, how do you see the series going?
Yeah, I'm saying 4-1. I would love it to go to 6 or 7 to kind of make it interesting, but I think Miami's just probably going to steal one in Miami, and that'll be probably it.
Cool. What about you? Zach?
Man, I really want to say this is going to go 7.
Miami, prove us wrong.
Please, Miami.
Yeah, I really want to say Miami in 7, because I could definitely feel this going 2-0 Denver, with Miami winning Game 3, and if Miami's going to steal any game in Denver, it's going to be Game 5. So let's say they were to steal Game 5, come back home for Game 6, it could go to 7.
They could go to 7.
But I'm not going to bet against the Nuggets, so Nuggets in 5.
Nuggets in 5.
Yeah.
I'll just throw one in the dark. It'll be 4-2.
4-2. All right.
4-2. No team. Okay, I like it. Whoever's going to win is going to be in 6.
No, I did. No. I said Nuggets.
Oh, you said Nuggets? Okay.
Yeah.
Piper's coming in with that too.
You know
Nuggets.
what? Maybe Miami somehow they rally and take both games in Miami. So we'll see.
Fine. I hope so.
That'd be cool. It'd be 2-2, but then that's when Nuggets will be like, nah, you had your fun. Game over.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let's move on. So we're a couple months in the MLB season, baseball season. We got our baseball expert right here, Zachary. Let's tune in. Let's talk a little baseball. Educate me.
Oh boy, that's tough. No, seriously though, baseball has been rolling since late March, early April. Doesn't appear to be a lot of separation like there was early on in the season. The Tampa Bay Rays were super hot to start out. They were on a historic pace. I think one of the biggest stories so far has been the American League East, with all 5 of those teams like just playing extremely good baseball. You had like the Rays were up top. The Orioles are on fire this year. The Yankees are still staying afloat. Red Sox still staying afloat too. Toronto is a good team. So they've kind of been beating each other throughout the season. But let's get into these NL and AL MVPs so far. We pulled up here the top 10 odds for AL MVP so far. Like this is if you wanted to bet. I think the odds were as of today. Shohei Ohtani up top, even though Aaron Judge currently right now is probably the front runner for MVP. Shohei's bat was slumping a little bit here a couple days ago. He had a big 2 home run game yesterday in Chicago for the Angels. He hit like a 460, 70 foot home run.
Dang,
and that's
knocked it out.
yeah. So that's the best way to get out of a slump. I feel like it's going to be a 2-headed race the whole season, just like it has been the last 2 years. Further down you get Yordan Alvarez. There's some good odds down here for some of these guys. Yordan Alvarez will probably stay in the thick of the race. He finished 3rd last year. Trout, if he's healthy all year, will be in the mix too. You can see in these MVP favorites here that a lot of these guys, more than half, or probably about half, more than half, are from the AL East. That just shows how good that division's been playing. New York, Toronto, Baltimore, and Tampa Bay. The 2 guys from Toronto, Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero, are keeping that team afloat for sure. Their pitching has been better than expected, I would say. Adley Rutschman is the young phenom in Baltimore behind the plate at catcher. Mix in there Marcus Semien with Texas. He was one of those big additions last year when the Rangers decided they wanted to go all in. And then Tampa Bay just continues to produce good ball players down there. But yeah, there's some good odds out here. All it takes is an injury here, injury there. Player misses, a chunk of the season. And if you got in, let's say like Adley Rutschman and that team makes the playoffs, and a couple of those guys start slumping in front of them, like you get plus 3,500 on that. That's pretty solid. But like I said, it's going to be a two horse race all season between Shohei and Aaron. So
You know me, Zach. I'm a betting man, and now that basketball is kind of dwindling down, and I got a few more months till football. I need to diversify my profile in the summer. Give me someone. Give me like 2-3 guys. I need to put like $20 on just fancy,
Okay, so American League, if he is still plus 600, just put some money on Aaron Judge. That's a pretty solid one. Like I said, I don't think that Shohei should be the favorite right now, but Vegas knows a lot, as we know. I think we had a discussion earlier about basketball and what the Heat were getting and what they ended up losing by. So Vegas knows,
Mm-hmm.
with the NL, Ronald Acuna is literally running away with it. They had it's part of the new rules this year. They increased the base size, and that was like a safety measure to help cut down with like sliding injuries, both with like arms, hands, and with feet.
Okay.
And they also limited how many times a pitcher can pick off to first base during an at bat. So because of that, Ronald Acuna is like leading the league in stolen bases, I'm pretty sure, or he's like up there near the top. That's helping his MVP odds for sure. The Braves are just a freaking well-oiled machine. I feel like these odds are not current, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Because Freddie Freeman's with the Dodgers. So I got to go back and check to see where they're at. Hopefully that's just a typo, because that would be my pick, though. Freddie Freeman
for NL? Okay.
For the Dodgers, yeah. Whatever you can get him at. He's having a heck of a season, for sure. Yeah, I would say Freddie Freeman and Aaron Judge. If you can get on these odds, do that.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I have something to look forward to towards the end of October now.
Now, educate me a little bit here, because I know that much about baseball. Is there no league MVPs? Is it just per the divisions, the leagues, or is there an MLB MVP?
No, there's no MLB MVP. It's American League MVP, National League MVP, and then that's also with the awards that they do like further on. So Cy Young, Coach of the Year, Rookie of the Year, all that stuff. Yeah, so there's going to be two.
I kind of like that. I'm able to diversify my profile a lot more versus like an NBA and
that is
NBA and NFL reward bets. I got like 6 players I could choose and possibly make some money back. So I like these odds.
Now here's another question for non-baseball people. Do the American League and the National League have different rules and like gameplay?
Up until last year, yes, they did have different rules. In the National League, the pitchers were required to hit for their teams in the lineup. MLB said and now the DH is in both leagues. It's definitely now the rules are the same in terms of like what separated them in the past, and that's why like the All-Star game used to be for home field throughout the World Series, because that made a difference, because you'd have either 4 games where a pitcher hits or 3 games.
Okay.
Yeah, but now it's the same game across the board. Some people like it, some people hate it. I was always a supporter of it. Pitchers are paid to hit, and I mean until Shohei, but like pitchers are paid to hit, or pitchers are paid to pitch, hitters are paid to hit and play defense.
So with that,
yeah,
he's a pitcher. Ohtani's a pitcher.
Yeah.
And is he like DH? Like, are they putting him in the DH spot? Is that what's happening?
Yeah. They made a couple rules to accommodate for players like Shohei, because they want to have more two-way players. So when Shohei pitches, he also hits in the same game, so he's the pitcher and the DH. And then when he gets removed from the pitcher position, he just goes to full-time DH for the rest of the game.
Wow.
How it used to be a couple years ago, I think 2020 was the first year that he really tried to do both. There would be no DH when he pitched, so it was that the Angels had to get very strategic with when they made the pitching change, because once you bring a new pitcher in, then they have to hit now, because they would forfeit the DH for the game when they wanted Shohei to hit on the same day. Crazy. So there were some crazy games. They had one against the Giants that went like extra innings, and like they pretty much depleted their whole bench to like they had a catcher. They had like the 3rd or 4th string catcher have to come in, and they moved like their starting catcher to left field, and then I think for an inning they had to put a pitcher out in left field or something. So like counter. It was really funky. So MLB was like, you know what, we're not going to punish teams that want to have two-way players, so they got rid of that rule. And they also added an extra roster spot for the entire league. So now it used to be a 25-man roster. Now it's a 26-man roster.
Cool.
So that was part of the Shohei rules is what they call them.
Shohei rules.
It's worth
Yeah,
it,
Came
man.
in and changed
Hey,
the
that-
league.
Shohei is that good that there's all these rule changes now. So
Yeah.
props to him, man.
Yeah, Shohei definitely. I think he entered the like LeBron phase of his greatness
Mhm.
last year when he didn't win MVP. Because he had a better year last year, I think overall, than he did the year before when he won unanimous MVP, and he lost. So now it's kind of like what happened with Joel Embiid this year.
Yeah.
You could argue that like Jokic had like the better season, probably should have been MVP, but they kind of like he just gave it to Embiid. Now that's not to say that they just gave it to Judge. Like Judge hit 60 home runs. He had like an all-time American League hitting season. So I don't want to diminish that too much, but he didn't pitch. You know, like Shohei was hitting dingers. He hit like 40 home runs, 100 RBIs, and also won like 12 games on the mound. So
That's crazy. Well, speaking about Aaron Judge real quick, there was some speculation I saw a couple of weeks ago that there might be some cheating going on because there was as a hitter, you're supposed to be looking at the ball, but I saw his eyes looking towards a bench or somewhere. Maybe they're giving signals. Can you speak on that? I don't know too much about signal stealing and Astros cheating. I know a lot of my Dodger fan homies, maybe including yourself, are still mad about that. But can you speak on that and see?
So, not a Dodger fan, but still am pissed about it because of how they did it. Sign stealing is not illegal in baseball. Now, the way you acquire that information and relay it to the players, absolutely, like you can cross a line. I think what Aaron Judge was doing, from what I read, was he was looking at his coach, but
The first base coach,
like
right?
the first base side, yeah, but it was like in the middle of like the windup, so it's kind of weird to do that. I don't know if he had like just like a quick like twitch over there, but he was definitely looking. Now, I know there's definitely ways you can relay signs, and there's players that do pick up and they try to find out what the sequences are. Like when catchers would throw down numbers, which is why they got away from that and started using the pitch comm system. So now the catcher calls the pitch through like a device, and it relays that pitch to the pitcher. And so there's no like signs that have to be like thrown down anymore. So there's no room to really steal the signs. But there's still things that they can do to like, you can kind of have different ways to relay to the hitter, like where the catcher's setting up. So like the better catchers won't get into position until it's like too late to be able to get that information to the hitter. So they'll wait till the very last possible second to like shift over to outside and hit that outside corner and like stay there.
Is there a way to read like the pitcher's hands, like his the way he's holding the ball? Is there a way to like read it that way?
Yeah, so if there's like a runner on second base, they would have like the best angle to look inside the glove if the catcher is not like protecting the glove, like the ball when he's holding it. So like if you're like wide open like this and like you're holding the ball, like you can see what grips you have with the ball, right? Like if you're on that side. Mm-hmm. So that's why catchers like try to like cover it and like hold it close so they don't see anything. And then, you know, that way you don't want to show your fingers to the second baseman, because the second baseman can do stuff like if he puts one hand like down further than the other, like that could mean like fastball, and if he does it with the other one, it could be like off speed or curveball. And the hitter doesn't have to move his eyes too much because he would just look past the pitcher to see the second base runner and could tell what they're doing, and that could relay what kind of pitch is coming in. There's definitely ways to still do that stuff, and that honestly is like it's perfectly legal, because the defenseman, the pitcher, quote unquote, is giving up that information willingly. You know, whether he likes it or not, like that's his fault for not hiding it. And that's like when they used to throw down signs, catchers would throw like multiple fingers down, you know, and then it would be one of those numbers, whatever they agreed upon, to keep trying to throw the runner on second base off. And so the catcher and pitcher would know which number it is, and then that's the pitcher they would go with.
That's insane.
So now you have pitcher like Shohei. Shohei's calling his own pitches. So he has his pitch comm in his arm, and so like when he gets the ball back, like he'll catch it and then he'll go straight to his arm and like he'll call a pitch, and he'll hide it, and then in that like he's doing all the work pretty much. The catcher just has to know what's coming and then just be set up for it and ready for it.
Is it like Morse code? Like there's like two bumps. It's like a curveball and like.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like a pulse sensation.
I see.
Yeah. I don't think it would be like there would be earpieces and any of that stuff. That gets really because then if you there's like more room for cheating that way if you have like
the hitter could definitely hear that.
Yeah, and if it's like the malfunctions, so I think it's just a pulse system, which is really smart too. Like a lot of the catchers have it on their gear, like it's underneath like their knee guard when they're squatting down, so they'll put their finger under there and they'll know what pitch is which and they'll call it, and then the hitter will just throw it.
Crazy, man. The things they've had to do because of cheating over the years.
Because cheating, because you can't just play fair, man.
Wow.
Astros, baby.
And then they're like, no, pitchers shouldn't bat.
Well, dude, man, like these pitchers started getting hurt. Like there was a dude, Adam Wainwright, like when he was in it, was it Wainwright or Carpenter? One of the Cardinals pitchers. Like he swung at a ball and like ruptured his Achilles, like getting out of the box. Wow. And it's like, he's going to be having these pitchers like risking their livelihood because they're trying because they have to hit.
I see. Okay, I get it now. I get it.
And it creates more jobs because now you get these old guys who just hit. Now they have 15 other teams they can play for now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Careers get longer, more home runs. It's good for baseball.
Jason Giambi's coming back out of retirement.
Dude, him and like Tomey and like all these dudes, Frank Thomas, they would have loved to have 15 more teams they could play for. Are you kidding me?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, cool, man. Got to learn a lot about baseball in these past 10 minutes, man. Because
I've been looking forward to this.
Cheating and everything. I had no idea.
I love baseball so much.
Hey, cool. Well, I know throughout the season you'll be updating the cave, and you're our baseball expert. So definitely looking forward to more commentary from your end, man.
Love it.
Moving along. So we got some NFL news for everybody. First thing, let's talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. Recently made the move to Las Vegas, play for the Raiders. I guess he failed a physical, and now his job's in jeopardy. And I mean, the future's looking a little uncertain, but that's just my opinion. Any facts? Any updates? News since this came out a couple of days ago, guys?
So, from basically, long story short, with Jimmy, he's got a waiver clause, right? And the waiver clause in his contract basically states if you have, for any reason, not being able to play because of your foot, then the Raiders can basically not drop him, but like basically not pay him what his salary for the year. That is a big gamble, I think, on Jimmy's part. But I mean, there's been a lot of statements, man. He thinks he's confident to be able to pull through and get it done before the season starts. So I don't know. Listen, I don't know who the Raiders are going to put in if Jimmy's not there, because they're going to pull Brady out of the owner's box. I don't know what's going on.
But he's already said he's not coming back. He's looking forward to being in the media next season. Yeah, he's not coming back. He's done.
The Raiders gonna text Derek Carr real quick, like, "Yo, come back for a little bit, please."
Derek Carr will never step foot in the Raiders organization again. He cannot stand it.
I'm sure.
Oh, boys, it looks like it's Brian Hoyer season. Let's go.
All reliable.
All seriousness, I'm kind of surprised that he agreed to a clause. I feel like that's not really what the NFLPA pushes for and tries to make sure the players get every penny that they can from these teams. So to be able to have this kind of contract that could, I'm pretty sure what you said, potentially like void his contract if he fails. It's a big gamble. On the flip side, for the Raiders to be able to do this is like,
that's smart.
Yeah, the Raiders to be able to do this is pretty crazy.
Raiders probably, knowing their ass, they probably slipped it in there on the very last page in between, like, yeah, we're going to give you this much money. There's this clause, and then we're going to give you this much money.
$1 million.
Yeah.
Well, so he's still got time, right? And basically what both parties are saying is that everyone was aware of the situations throughout the entire the whole contract negotiations and signings. Everyone was aware of the situations. So this is what I'm getting from it. Jimmy's got to be confident that he's going to be able to pull through this season, because like Zach, like you were saying, that is a wild clause to have in your statement. So basically, just and someone correct me if I'm wrong here, with contract signing, basically a lot of times what will happen is when contracts are signed on a like specific things need to happen, and one of those things is a physical needs to be passed. Every time you sign a contract, a physical needs to be passed with that team, and a lot of times you'll see players will be released because they're not passing their physicals. In this situation, what I think what happened is they waived the physical at first to allow Jimmy to rehab before the start of the season, but there's going to be a deadline before the start of the season where he needs to be healthy or something to that effect.
I see.
That sounds about right. I haven't found the exact terms, but that sounds exactly right.
What exactly is wrong with Jimmy's foot? Is it like
I'm glad you asked. I had the same injury in middle school.
Oh wow!
I was playing basketball and I came down wrong on my foot. He has a fracture of the base of the second metatarsal in his left foot, and that's where I have a fracture of my foot too. So like,
wow,
on the edge of your foot, like the bone like is fractured off of it a little bit, but it's like the middle.
No shit, I did that 2 years ago.
Yeah, that shit hurts, dude.
Yeah, it fucking hurts, man.
Yeah.
Because and the shitty part is it feels like a sprain at first because of where the pain hits.
Mm-hmm.
So like after like an hour or two, I tried to like walk it off, and I could not walk it off.
No. Yeah,
No.
dude, I did the same shit. I tied my shoe hella tight because I had like mid tops. I tied it super tight and I tried to play and I was like, I can't do this. This sucks. And so I ended up getting a cast on it, and it just like it healed, but I still have pain there every once in a while. Like if I hit my foot wrong, or if I make a wrong like cut, if I'm playing or whatever, like it hurts, and it's like throbs too, and it swells still to this day.
Dang, man.
Yeah, dude. It's like right in the middle of the foot too.
It'll like act up every once in a while, like just out of nowhere, and it kind of like it'll throw you off.
Yes. So in the middle of a game, dude, yeah. And when quarterbacks need balance, like that could affect them. And if he's thinking about it, which like I remember thinking about it too when I'd be playing, like it's not fun.
It gets to your head, man. And imagine in the middle of the game having that pain, when it's crunch time. Yeah, that's why the team. I could see both sides, but Jimmy G needs to fire his agent though.
It's a fact. Why
There's another weird clause in it too. Something about if he stays with the team throughout the whole season and he's there with them for like 3 or 4 days after their final game, he'll still get paid or something like that. So his contract's got a lot of different clauses involved. So let's hope Jimmy stays healthy.
Yeah, Vegas needs a quarterback, man. I mean, Vegas. I just want Vegas to. Yeah, that too. It'd just be nice to have like that Las Vegas team kind of start popping off. It'd be great for the city of Las Vegas and just for all my Raider fan homies out there. So they've been crying.
Vegas Knights are making moves.
Yeah, Vegas Knights. It'd be nice to have Vegas Ace. The WNBA team won the chip last year.
Aces,
so
The A's are moving there. They're getting baseball.
The A's are moving, so Raiders need to follow suit and get with the program.
I'll say this, Francis. For you betting, I mean, if the Raiders end up sucking all year, that's easy bets. Just bet against them. Win some money.
That's true. That's true.
We'll I mean, it's not hard to bet against Brian Hoyer. Come on, man.
That's
you make a lot of money betting on Vegas.
Let's move forward. Deandre Hopkins recently released from the Cardinals. So right now he's a free agent. Rumors have it that teams have eyes on him, mainly teams in the AFC East. So there's a lot of speculation, but nothing's for sure yet. What do you guys think of the situation? Like, why did he get cut? What, did he want out, or the team it was just done, or his injuries, or what was it?
Everyone knew he wanted out. He was ready, man. You could see it. You could see it all year last year. There was a lot of frustration going on between him and Kyler, and the coaching, and the I think the head coach even said that it makes more sense for them not to have D-Hop with them, because God, the man's an amazing receiver and just clutch. Just his hands are literally just like falcon clutches. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have the chemistry with somebody, it's not gonna work out. So I'm pretty sure everybody knew he wanted out, and that's kind of where it went. But I think a lot of people are going to take his time in Arizona the wrong way, because he didn't have the most amazing season last year. And I don't blame that all on him at all.
No.
Yeah, the coach was Cliff Kingsbury last year? I know it was him, right? Yeah. And he got fired, and that offense just did not look dynamic and it did not maximize D-Hop's potential. And Kyler Murray was just a shell of himself from the previous year. So I can understand D-Hop's frustration. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard the Cardinals were exploring trade options and just could not find a trade partner, and ultimately just gave up and said, "Fuck it, we'll just release him."
He was a popular draft day trade candidate because of all the stuff that was going on with him. And then I think the year before last, he was hurt.
He was.
I'm not mistaken. He missed a few games. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's still a dynamic playmaker.
Suspended for 6 games last year.
That's right. Yeah,
So,
every year it seems like something happens. I'll say he's a very dynamic player, game changer for sure. But it just seems like is his health reliable? Because it seems like every year is some kind of injury, or like you said, the suspension too. So off the field issues. Is he a reliable player?
that's why they released him. I think between that and the fact that it's not great to have a star wide receiver when you're trying to rebuild too. Like when you have a player of his magnitude that he brings on and off the field, it's almost better to cut ties with him. Really surprised they waived him. They should have traded him and got something for him. Because you just let him go for free, Yeah,
even if you get the shorter end of the stick, you should have just traded for something.
Yeah, you have that Denzel Washington mentality, I'm leaving with something.
Yeah.
And I think left with nothing. The Cardinals have nothing.
Correct me if I'm wrong too. Kyler Murray is out for this upcoming season, right? Didn't he get injured towards the end of last year?
I don't think he's out for the whole season.
Oh, okay. But that might have something to do with it too, because they're not gonna start off on the right track, regardless if D-Hop is there or not.
That's another team to win some money on.
Bet against,
Against the Cardinals. So in terms of fits, where do you guys see him going? That would be both beneficial to him and to the team.
I heard, and something I forgot to talk about it before we started this. Deshaun Watson was talking about how he would love to link up with D-Hop again. I don't see that happening. But
in Cleveland?
But
exactly.
Yeah, he was he said something about how he would love to link up with Hopkins again, and kind of. I don't see it happening there. This is where I see this is happening. I think this team right there. That's going to be the team that's going to pick them up. The Pats need a solid receiver. They need someone who is their go-to guy, and they haven't had that in about 3 to 4 years. So, out of all of these teams, someone was talking about how Buffalo was. He was dancing around with Buffalo. The Jets said that they were good. And someone was talking about how he was dancing around with Miami. Here's the thing. Buffalo is probably not going to happen. They got Steph. They don't need. They got Steph on Diggs. They don't need him.
Yeah.
Miami does not need him. Miami's got a solid receiving core.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody's going to need him in the East, it's going to be that team right there. Because God knows they need something. Because the Patriots being last in their division.
That was crazy.
Is wild to me. It's absolutely insane to me.
I haven't seen that ever in my life since I started watching football.
So
Right? Yeah, I think it's been forever.
To hear the Patriots are that's true.
Last
Man.
place?
Ever since I remember.
Who is the quarterback in New England right now? Didn't they make some moves?
That's why I think he's not going there.
you don't think so?
Mac.
No.
Yeah, because they don't have anybody reliable.
D-Hop is one of those guys that you want to add to an already like good core. It's very Randy Moss like. Like if they had Tom Brady or like a big time quarterback, and you get a guy like D-Hop in there, then that's like what puts you over the top. And I just don't think the Patriots have that. But I can see him going there because they obviously don't want to be in last place again.
Mm-hmm.
So I just pulled up a list of landing spot potentials for him.
You're probably gonna say when I'm gonna,
Mhm.
yeah. Go ahead.
So a lot of people have Buffalo at number 1,
Mhm.
which is weird to me. Carolina is sitting on a number 2.
Mhm.
Detroit, New England, the Giants are.
There you go.
You think
Giants,
that last
I
one?
could see the
I think the
Giants.
Giants would be a great fit for him, for sure.
Yeah.
With Danny Dimes? Is Danny Dimes good enough to get him the ball?
I'll tell you this:
He's got
got
an
an
extension,
playoff.
That's true.
Got Saquon Barkley. You got
So they believe in him.
Thing.
I think Danny Dimes is just another Eli. I think he's a high-level mediocre quarterback
Scrappy.
who, if you put the right system around him, can do what he needs to get done.
Yeah.
I didn't think Eli was an elite level quarterback. I don't think that Danny's a elite level quarterback, but I think that he's a high level mediocre quarterback where you put the right pieces around him, he gets where he needs to be.
Would
Yeah.
you compare him to the rest of the NFC? He's actually not that bad. Like NFC,
The NFC is pretty weak at the quarterback position. I think right now is Jalen Hurts at the top, and I don't even know who else.
Kirk Cousins.
Brock Purdy.
Yeah,
He's improved every year. Every year he's come in, and you see improvement from Danny.
Who's that?
Dimes.
Danny? Yeah.
yeah.
That's true.
So,
But Kirk Cousins
I mean,
is
as
also
long
one of
as
those
he-
guys too.
He just can't
Yeah.
play in prime time.
Yeah.
So
He did not-
and he has
he really
pieces.
can't.
He's got pieces too. I mean, this talk kind of went from the Hopkins to Danny, but Danny's got the pieces around him, and good coaching staff around him. So I do think he's. Yeah, let's send D-Hop to the Giants.
Here's another long
Let's
shot.
get-
Here's a long shot though for this. New
long
Orleans
shot,
Saints.
I was thinking about that too.
New
I was
Orleans
just
Saints.
thinking about that too. Who is their roster? Like, who is their number 1 receiver right now? Is it?
Still Thomas.
Michael Thomas?
Tomorrow for
Michael
sure,
Thomas back?
running back. and
Thomas
then-
is still there.
And then Carr.
Thomas is.
Mara. They got
Jeez.
fucking. They got Carr there now.
Oh yeah, Derek Carr's there
Michael
now.
Thomas,
Okay.
Chris
Carr
Olave,
is
That
there.
division's wide open.
Traquan
Like-
Smith.
That division is wide open
Yeah.
Wide open.
NFC
because
South.
Baker's not doing anything in Tampa.
Yeah.
So let's be realistic. It's Baker.
They still got good receivers in Tampa though.
Olave. That's who their
Oh,
their
they got
number 1 guy
Olave.
is.
You got Olave,
Olave.
Thomas, and D-Hop.
And Rashid Shaheed.
Speedster.
I don't know. They got some people over there. I don't think that they would need. Well, Michael Thomas is kind of at his
His injury, man.
that injury point.
That really set him back. Sorry,
But
I'll go.
if D-Hop goes anywhere, realistically, he's going to have to take a pay cut, right? I don't see a lot of teams being able to pay him that much money.
He's
Yeah,
gonna
he's gonna
have
take
to
it.
right now. He's not. He's like we were saying. He's not a. There's no. In the past like 3 or 4 years, there's really nothing backing up him being DeAndre Hopkins, right? for someone to give him all the money that he's worth. So he's definitely going to have to take a pay cut and kind of show everyone who he is again, for sure.
How would you guys feel if he ended up in Kansas City?
I'd be so fucking pissed.
I'd quit. I'd quit. I'm done.
I think we should prepare for him to go to Kansas City or Baltimore, but I want him to go to like the Giants.
I'm cool if he goes to Baltimore, but not Kansas City.
I'm not cool if he goes to Baltimore.
No.
I'm not. I'm a Steelers fan. I do not want him in Baltimore.
Oh man,
I'm gonna be started on this.
My gut's telling me Kansas City.
Dude, if Kansas City picks up another one, man.
And D-Hop's rich already. He might just take like a $500K a year deal.
Like
and just,
Tony and Kelsey?
yeah, just fucking get a chip.
Patty's throwing you balls? Like,
oh, yeah, right? Oh, my God. Yeah, but let's be realistic. Now we have to talk about the whole contract factor that has been playing in the past 10 years when it comes to a lot of athletes. Is he going to be willing to take the pay cut? A lot of these players think that they're worth more than it may be worth what they're worth, but instead of taking the pay cut and getting to a good team, they hold out for the big bucks. Do you think that he'll be able to swallow his pride and take a pay cut?
Damn.
I'll say because of inflation, there will be no pay cut.
And Danny brings a good point.
I actually switched my mind up on these pay cuts thing. Like, I used to be so like down on players that wouldn't do it. Be like, why aren't you taking a pay cut? Like, you get to play on this great team, have the best chance at a championship. Like, why wouldn't you do it? It's a lot easier to cut a guy when they're not making a lot of money too. So if for whatever reason they want to get rid of you, that's it, and then you're a free agent again. So I definitely can see that. The more, to cut. So yeah, I don't think he'll get he's not gonna get a minimum for sure. He won't be a minimum player.
No.
I don't think he's gonna make as much money as he could or that he should have made. But we'll see what happens.
Does Kansas City even have room to pay for him?
We're about to find out.
Yeah, I know. They might.
Kansas City is just that team like Patriots used to be, where when people went, they thought like, "Hey, I'm gonna win a Super Bowl." So, I mean, I can see it happening.
Yeah.
I mean, DeAndre like, "No, I'm going to win a Super Bowl, so I don't care. I'm going."
Now, I think that they have room on their receiving depth chart because they really don't have the biggest receivers in the world over there.
That's true.
But when it comes to money, there might not be enough room to get him in there. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't have the cap space right now.
Yeah.
But all it takes is one restructure.
That's true.
You could redo Patty's deal because he's over here talking about like, oh, I'm gonna restructure my deal. I've already made a lot of money. Blah, 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 blah.
Whatever, man.
Nailed it.
Whatever. I just wanna.
Never mind. I'm gonna bring it up.
No, bring it up. Let's do it.
We'll save that for a different NFL segment because he's got some shit going on with his family, dude.
But yeah, he's got a lot going on right now. So,
yo, his brother is wilding. I'll say that.
Yo, let's see how this will affect. Do you think he'll just kind of wave it off and he'll just kind of play through the season, or do you think it's going to affect the way he plays?
I don't think there's enough noise being made about it, so he's just going to play it off. It's not like what happened to Andy Reid's brother, like. Or was it his son or his son, right?
His son.
I think it was his
That
son.
was different. You can't really, hide behind that, but I think Mahomes is going to keep playing and not bat an eye.
Someone needs to take him off the damn pedestal, and I'm getting sick and tired of Buffalo not coming through.
Right?
Every year I'm betting on, I'm a Steelers fan. Every year I'm betting on Buffalo to do something to Kansas City.
Man, they came so close. They had 13 seconds to kill, and you can't fucking hold them for 13 seconds.
That was the craziest game in NFL history.
That was insane. That was fucking
so
ridiculous.
Crazy.
It was like a basketball game at that point.
It really was. It was crazy. I have a. I think that the AFC is going to stay solid. I think that if someone in the AFC does grab D-Hop, though, is going to throw a wrench in there. I think you guys made a good point, though. On the NFC side, there aren't many solid quarterbacks where D-Hop they can find a room to put D-Hop. I think it'd be tough. I don't know if I think the Giants would be the only people in the NFC who would make sense, as I'm thinking off the top of my head, because I don't see anybody else.
Do you think D-Hop is still like a throw it up and go get it kind of receiver? Like if you throw it to him, like he's going to make a play on it?
Yeah, he's done it many times.
I still think so. I think
the Colts would be a good fit for him then.
The Colts?
Good for a good rookie quarterback to throw to somebody, go up and get it.
That'd be interesting.
They already have a good offense.
Yeah,
if the offense is like to stay healthy and keep.
But does D-Hop want to go to Indiana though? Does he want to go to Indianapolis?
does he want to play with another rookie quarterback too?
Yeah,
he already did that.
I think he's
second,
that dude's raw too. That quarterback on the.
No, they just picked up. What's his name?
That's right. You're right.
Richardson.
Is that Robinson? Richardson, not Robinson.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I don't know. That's a wide open division too. Well, maybe not wide open, but
who's there?
Shit.
Oh no,
I just realized the fucking Jaguars are getting Calvin Ridley back.
Yeah, dude, the Jaguars are gonna be nice. Calvin Ridley, Travis Etienne's coming back.
Oh,
Jaguars.
Yeah,
Jagging off again in the cave next year.
Yeah, I can't wait for NFL, bro. Like, I can't wait to talk fantasy and sports bets. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh, I'm so ready for the NFL.
Training camp starts next month.
3 months.
Training camp starts next month. Perfect.
Next month, baby.
Hell yeah!
I'm making a statement right here, right now. Not because I'm a Steelers fan, but in the next 2 to 3 years, the Steelers will win a Super Bowl.
Okay.
If you've been noticing what they've been doing this offseason and last season, the Steelers are coming up with a squad, get all these young players time to develop. 3 years max, they're going to win a Super Bowl, taking Kansas City off their pedestal.
All right.
Kenny Pickett, Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Put it here first.
All right, man. I'm gonna write that bet in 3 years. Don't fail me.
Holy shit, that was wild. Okay.
All right, since we're making statements, Eagles next year, Super Bowl winners. Let's fucking go, DeAndre Swift.
That's not bold.
That's not a bold statement.
Because if it gets to the Super Bowl, then he has to go through Pat Mahomes or Josh Allen, and that's gonna be tough. It's not for sure.
You think? Yeah.
It's
a little tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be really tough. Hey, shut up, Zach. I'm just trying to put it to the universe so I can win my future bet. Okay. I'm already on it. I'm already on it.
All right, I'm gonna save my bold prediction for a later show. But I'm kind of feeling maybe the Chiefs missed the Super Bowl or missed the playoffs this year.
Chiefs missed the Super Bowl.
Missed the playoffs.
Missed the playoffs.
That was the first thing that came in my head.
Who's gonna win in that division?
That's not bold. That's just a dumb statement.
It's not gonna be the Raiders. It's definitely not gonna be the Broncos. You think it's gonna be Chargers?
Hey, that's the team. Everybody. Well, not everybody, obviously. But that's a lot of people like what they do every offseason. It's like that's the first thing that popped in my head. I'm not concrete on it, but it's something I literally was like, what if the Chiefs miss the playoffs this year?
I think that the Chiefs won't miss the playoffs this year, but I give them 2 more years. Give the AFC West 2 more years, and I think that the AFC West, I think the Chargers, and I think that the Raiders are going to start making some moves. And if the Broncos can get Wilson out of there, maybe the Broncos. I don't know. Russell Wilson's done. Yep, that's my
done.
Russell's done. He's done.
Dang.
He's just gonna ride off into the sunset.
Who wins more football games next year, Russell Wilson or Jimmy Garoppolo?
Ooh, damn. I'm gonna say Russell Wilson just because.
I'm gonna say Russell Wilson just because of Sean Payton.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that now, just because he has a better coach.
Sean Payton.
That and because Jimmy G's not gonna play. his clause. Kidding.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good question.
Yeah, Jimmy play. Jimmy's definitely gonna play. I think that it'll be. I think it'll be close, but I don't think that the Raiders organization has the right coaching staff to get the Raiders done. I think that's where. I think that's where the Broncos are going to. I think if Sean Payton can get Russell Wilson contained with his being a diva. If they can get the diva of Russell Wilson contained, then maybe.
You mean Sierra?
Sierra?
I heard she's very nice, for the record.
She's very nice.
Yeah, her goodies though.
Hey, my baby.
Awesome. Well, hey, we went through the NBA playoffs. Gave some predictions. Got to learn a little bit about baseball today, the cheating side of things, and we got to talk some NFL news. So, any last minute things you guys want to plug in?
No, not really.
Hey, since we're still talking about sports, though, I do want to announce well ahead of time, July 29th, we are planning to do our first what do we call it? Like we're like a live stream.
Watch along.
Of what's up?
Our first watch along that we're doing.
Our first watch along. I was going to say that, but our first watch along. And so make sure to stay tuned. We'll give more details about it. But it'll be the first Cave live stream watch along. We'll be watching the Crawford Spence fight on July 29th. So stay tuned for more details about that.
Can't wait for that fight.
Obviously, we'll have Francis, aka Slava, giving his expert betting advice on picking those two, as he's going to gather some more information.
Yes, sir.
So, all right. Anyways, this concludes this episode of Cave Sports. Do not forget to check us out all over the web. Our website, cave.com. That is K4V3.com. We have podcasts you could check out. Check out the merch. We got plenty of things on there. Also, we have our first sponsor. Anyways, we'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll talk about it because it's pretty exciting news. So we'll talk about it next episode. Also, check us out on Instagram at the Cave, and we also have the Cave Sports. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, and all over. So that concludes it. Have a good night, everybody, and see you next time.
Good night.
Nuggets in 5.
Nuggets in 5, but please, Nuggets in 7.
Come on, Jimmy.